The questions were inevitable. Is this something that is legal? Is this something that should be regulated?
Some people even believe it might still be illegal. Be clear on, we're talking billions of people spending billions of dollars to bet on things they can't control.
Big question is it even legal, and should it be?
I consider it more of investing. You know, I have a portfolio. I'm trying to diversify the portfolio by picking players every day. I'm trying to maximize returns. I'm trying to optimize my lineup each day. I mean, it's like you're given $1,000 to bet on the stock market in a day.
I would say if you're investing in the stock market, that you're gambling. Right. It's something that you could lose on. There's variance associated with it. You could lose on any given day, and frankly, you could lose for an extended period of time if things aren't going your way. But the guys doing it right, they're going to win over the long run.
It's not the government's role to determine what we should or should not be doing, given that there's an outlet to do it. It's a game. It's a game that a lot of us have played for a lifetime. We'd like to continue playing that game using the technology that exists.
Well, the companies I represented felt that the appropriate path for the U.S. was to license and regulate internet gaming, not to prohibit it, and preserve the freedom of adults to entertain themselves as they choose.
And it's shut down in 2 years. We're going to find out what sports betting might mean to the revitalization of this place.
Federal government banned sports betting in the early 90s. It's an underground economy. It's over $300 billion a year. FBI says maybe even $500 billion a year. Illegal betting in the United States. Let's bring that above the ground. Let's regulate it and let people enjoy it.
When you have to draft a roster of 8 guys, all from varying teams, and you're not placing a wager on a single guy or a single team, there is skill involved in fantasy.
As there is in poker.
As there is in poker.
In the season-long contests, sometimes you have to wait 3 months, 4 months. You're devoting hours upon hours a week, and you have to wait until the end of the season to find out who won.
Then the internet came along. Today, you can play thousands of opponents at once, and rather than months, you get results right away.
The gratification doesn't get any more instant.
The younger fans weren't engaging with fantasy. And so the insight was, what if we take these mechanics around research and picking players and competing with your friends and put it in a format that's geared towards a very hard to reach but very important demographic of kind of millennial 18 to 35-year-olds. Let's make it mobile first, let's make it faster, and see how that goes.
What percentage of your daily fantasy players would you say are under the age of 30?
Probably about 50 to 60% are under the age of 30.
It's a demographic that appealed to venture capitalists and private equity firms. They've pumped hundreds of millions of dollars into the industry. TV networks wanted that audience as well.
Full disclosure, 21st Century Fox, our parent company.
We should note NBC Sports Group and NBC's parent company Comcast are among the investors.
ESPN has an exclusive 2-year marketing agreement.
Maybe the most surprising support came from professional sports leagues and teams.
Tides may be turning now that NBA Commissioner Adam Silver has broken ranks.
Sports betting is an enormous underground business. People estimate it's up to $400 billion business in the United States alone. So
bring it into the light.
We know it's going to happen. Bring it into the light. And by the way, tax it.
Most states determine whether or not something is gambling by asking whether it's more of a game of chance or more a game of skill.
So if you go and play DraftKings, it actually, in many ways, has a similar feel to poker. The games have payout structures that are similar, and you know, there's a lot of different variety where you can play head-to-head all the way up to larger tournaments.
The way he's describing daily fantasy and poker is so similar, most people could not tell them apart. And the similarities between online poker and daily fantasy don't stop there. Remember Corey Albertson, the guy with the homemade algorithm? Guess where he honed those skills?
In a past life, he was a professional poker player.
He's all in and in trouble against Corey Albertson, both with a pair of jacks. Albertson.
But then he discovered daily fantasy sports, and has been winning big against his online opponents ever since.
Look, if it attracts the same people and requires the same sorts of skills, it's safe to say it is somewhat similar. Connection to the world of poker was not clear enough. Guess who was a sponsor of the World Series of Poker this year?
The World Series of Poker main event telecast presented by DraftKings.
The freedom to do activities that an individual wants to engage in, how does holding up internet poker affect them and their rights?
Back in the day, the gaming industry in this country, the casinos, largely the mega ones in Las Vegas, did not like the idea of online gambling because it was competition.
What the tribes want would definitely serve their self-interest, but I don't think it serves the interests of the players.
The interests of people who just want to play poker online appears to be the last thing on anyone's mind. Existing gaming operators are simply trying to hold on to their lucrative state-granted monopoly for as long as possible.
So they use their bot man to kill the idea of online gambling here in the U.S. So what did the Senate do and the Congress do? They made online gambling illegal because it would compete with Vegas. And Harry Reid, since he is a politician like all other politicians in America, is completely bought and paid for. So he said, yes, sir, absolutely, sir. Harris, what would you like? Yes, Mirage, absolutely, yes, sir. And so they passed that bill so there's no gambling.
Poker players who enjoy playing online are often forced onto sketchy offshore websites because of restrictive federal legislation that makes it extremely difficult to place bets over the internet.
Harry Reid has completely reversed his position. Why? Because his donors in Vegas, the casinos, have reversed their decision. They've decided, oh, you know what? All this money already went out abroad. It turns out you can't stop the online gambling no matter how hard you try and no matter how many senators you buy, because people are going to find a way to do it, and they have.
Online poker play will continue. I mean, it is available now. It's available from sources, from operators who aren't licensed, who may not be reputable, who may not be offering a fair game, who don't provide proper consumer protection to the players.
And billions of dollars have flowed out of the country.
Potential online gambling legislation in Pennsylvania and California as they attempt to follow states like Nevada, New Jersey, and Delaware into regulating our industry. But what about other states? A new article from our friends at Gambling Compliance lists a total of 5 additional states which could regulate online gambling by 2020. Those states include New York, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Ohio, and Illinois.